there are a lot of perverts either writing these books or funding these books that want to normalize a specific way of behaving and living because they don't want to have to hide in the shadows to live.
I'm here today to talk about this book here. My name is John Amanchukwu, as I stated earlier. It's called It's Perfectly Normal for Students 10 and Up. This book details all kinds of sexual images, pictures of elderly people nude, pictures of an individual who's in a wheelchair with his penis out. All of these sexual pornographic images are made available and placed at the fingertips of children. And I'm sure Dr. Cruz, I don't know if you knew about this before you signed on, but hopefully this is something that you can address and deal with, because this is immoral and asinine to allow children to be able to see this. Also, this book even shows images of two women having sex, a man and a woman having sex, and two men having sex. That's not perfectly normal. Who decides what's normal? Is it you? Is it you? Is it you? Is it you? Or do parents decide what should be placed at the fingertips and allowed to be taught to their children in the school system? I'll read some of this for you. It says, after a bit, a person's vagina becomes moist and slippery, and the clitoris becomes hard. After a bit, a person's penis becomes erect, stiff, and larger.
Pastor.
Sometimes a bit of clear fluid that may contain a few sperm comes out of the tip of the penis and makes it wet.
Can we, sir, I'm sorry.
Was it something I said? Was it something I said? If you don't want to hear it in a school board meeting, why should children be able to check it out of the school system? You see, we have perverts that are perverting our kids. And you all sit back smug in your chairs and celebrate diversity, equity, and inclusion, but you don't want me to read it so you can hear it. Why? Does it bother you? Yes or no? You can't answer that question. You want to know why? Because politically speaking, you can't say that it's wrong. You probably are a Christian man, but many Christians today have become more Democrat than Christian. Some Republicans have become more Republican than Christian. I'm not trying to win an election. I don't get my talking points from the RNC or the DNC. I get my talking points from the Bible, from the Bible. And you don't want me to read the filth because it exposes the truth. How dare you tell me to stop reading it? If you don't want to hear it, why should the children have to see it?
Pastor, your time is up. Thank you.
Whoo-wee, my boy done went in. And there's so much to be said, but we're going to divide it in multiple points because there's a lot to be covered. But first of all, you have to notice what he said is that there seems recently to be a psychological warfare, right? A lot of the parents are having to push back against what's being preached and shown and deemed acceptable in the schools, because it's like the schools and the parents are at odds about what they want to introduce, present, and teach the kids. The parents, no matter what the government says, are the ones that are supposed to have the say-so, the last say-so, and the power to decide what's going to be taught to their kids. But when you send your kids to school, you're essentially accepting the government and a lot of liberal institutions with people in said institutions, teachers, people in power positions such as the principals, to decide for you. So you send them 8 hours a day to school to be taught things that you actually don't agree with, but because you're too busy making a living and paying bills and trying to raise your kids, now they're being raised by individuals that do not have your best interests at heart. That's why when he stopped and pointed out the fact that even the people that are on the school board know that morally it's wrong, but because they have ulterior motives or being paid or told to act accordingly by other people, they can't say nothing. That's the first point. Second of all, you'll see that as he pointed out, there are a lot of perverts either writing these books or funding these books that want to normalize a specific way of behaving and living because they don't want to have to hide in the shadows to live. And what better way than to indoctrinate the next generation, because they're going to be the society in a few decades. So if you normalize something that's wicked, that's weird, or that might not be deemed as acceptable, you know that in the future, in a few generations, then you won't have to hide to live your lifestyle. Look, a lot of things can be said about homosexuality and other types of sexual orientations, but there's a reason why in the past people kept that for themselves, because there's something what we call moral decay. And if you notice society, what's the trend that's been happening is the moral consciousness of society, all of us, right? We what we perceived as okay has been increasingly, right, and step by step rendered higher and higher on the scale of what's weird. People accept things and say things in public that they would have never said in the past, and we say, oh, it's because we're becoming more inclusive, we're more aware, right? We're better, or we're wiser than our elders, the people that came before us. But is it truly the case? Because now we're at a time where there's books like the Gay BCs, the book that was showed in the video, that are being pushed to young children. And we people that still have sane minds are fighting for other people to realize that what's happening is crazy. Because if we let this slide, what's the next thing that's going to happen? We are having drag queens going to schools to present things, right? Sexualizing kids, performing sexual acts, pole dancing, right? And so on and so forth in front of 5-year-olds. That's why information such as this needs to be taken seriously, is because it's only the tip of the iceberg. And you and I are the people that are supposed to take action, because if it doesn't stop here, who's to predict what's going to happen in the future, right? So it starts here. You have to educate yourself and know what's going on and take a stance, because if you don't, then you'll be swayed, right, by whoever. That's the problem. It's because if you realize, it's not that there's more liberals or trans LGBTQ rights people, but they're louder. The people that actually have sane minds tend to not get involved because they don't want to have to start this fight. But if you want to preserve a sane-minded overall society, then you have to speak up. You have to speak up. Even though we're more, we have to speak up and let it be known that we do not accept what's going on. Fuck with your boy. If you have any questions, if you like the content, if you'd like to get more, if I helped you in any way, shape, or form, gave maybe awareness, your boy is trying to get to 1,000 subs, right? Then I can only do that with your help. So without further ado, I will see you next time. Peace.